Welcome to my random kitchen in my actual home this week. So, not so random kitchen, but I am Brittany Bass, a full-time passenger seat princess and operations manager of Matt Becker Fishing. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am also Matt Becker's girlfriend, and we travel together on the Bass Pro Tour. He is in his, actually almost done with his second season on the Bass Pro Tour. 7th season as a professional fisherman, but he is why I am always in random kitchens, because we do travel together. So typically you do not see my kitchen, you see a different kitchen, and I get to bring you some of the best wives, fiancés, and girlfriends on to talk about their lives, our superstitions, and all of our behind the scenes goodness that goes into making a tournament season great, because there are other wives and girlfriends and fiancés and moms that travel with the guys on the Bass Pro Tour as well. So I have loved getting to introduce you guys to some of them so that you can see the behind the scenes. And as you can see, we are in my kitchen today. So this is solo episode and a little bit of a mini episode for episode 24 of the Random Kitchens podcast. All right, welcome back, everyone. So as you already have well been aware, we are in my kitchen, meaning we are home. So actually this week and next week, they're gonna be 2 solo episodes. I think next week actually might not be, but I'll tell you kind of the lowdown. So this week is just me. We just had 4th of July, and normally Matt and I would be at a tournament already. We actually wouldn't have done 4th of July, but 2 days maybe. We would have already been at a tournament, because normally, and there is a Toyota Series on Champlain right before ICAST. So as I kind of said in the beginning, this week is a little bit different for us because we are not doing that Toyota Series event. We actually get to spend it at home and a little time here. So it was super, super nice. We have been home like a week and a half, which is so weird. And we're actually going to be home until Tuesday next week. So in total, it'll be like 2 weeks. Which is kind of unheard of for us over the last 3 years. That does not happen for us until we get out of tournament season. So it's been very relaxing. Like I don't even know how to explain it. It is basically the enjoyment of like a 4-day holiday, but like all squished into one. So a couple of 4-day holidays, but we actually got to enjoy them with some friends. So we had some of my best friends come into town. I have known her since I was 2. And so her and her husband got to come, and they have 2 kids, but they got a kids-free weekend this weekend, because their her parents, but the kids' grandparents got to watch them through the weekend, and they got to come and just enjoy some time with us. So it was so nice. Like I cannot say enough about how it has been just so nice to be actually home and relaxed, because if you guys remember, the last time we came home for an extended amount of time, we were rolling sod. This week when we got home, like obviously we had 2-ish days before we had company coming. And so Matt and I did do a ton of work. We did like kind of cleaning out the flower beds, put some new bushes in, made sure we had just built steps down from our patio, so made sure that those were all right, and that they had enough gravel in them. And then we put like lighting down them and got a cute little flower basket, put some flowers in there, and just kind of cleaned up, everything, because we hadn't been home in a month. So everything just needed like a little bit of a refresh before they got here, which obviously I've known her forever, so it could have looked however it looked when she got here. But as you guys know, if you host anyone, you still want it to look great. So we did that like the first week. So this last week, basically starting, I guess, like right when they got here, like Thursday through now, what is today? Wednesday. It has really been just like us relaxing and not really having to do anything. Matt bush hogged a little bit, but he got in his little tractor and it has AC. So he was enjoying himself while also bush hogging versus sweating bullets, because it's probably been similar in your areas, but it's been like 106 here most days, or versions of 100 most days. So it's been pretty crazy as far as the weather goes. But I hope you all enjoyed your 4th of July and getting to meet Abigail on the last episode. So that leads me to this episode and next episode. So this episode, I'm going to run through some of the questions that I actually asked the ladies that I did not answer on the deep dive with me and Matt, or the Our Love Story one. And then next episode, basically what we're gearing up for is iCast Week. So iCast Week is in Florida. And typically, like I said, we have a tournament somewhere up north, which it's in New York. We fly down for iCast, and then we have to fly back, get his boat, and there's normally another tournament up north. Well, this year, instead of both of those tournaments being semi-near New York, the first tournament is in New York. We go to Florida. The second tournament, and the one we are going to, is actually in Michigan, so Detroit, Michigan. So this year, because we couldn't fish all of the Northern Series Toyotas, we could only fish one of them. Matt was like, I think that we should just take the week before iCast this year, make sure the house stuff is done. We bought some land and needed to do some things with that. He's like, I think we should just take the week before we go down to iCast, and then after iCast, we're going to drive down with his truck, and then we'll come back, pick up the boat, and go to Michigan. So it has been relaxing. It'll be very different for him, I'm sure, coming into iCast kind of like fully like ready to go versus right off of a tournament, because normally we're literally flying in like right after that tournament or trying to figure out how to get down there right after that tournament. So iCast next week is super exciting. I love it. It is, I would call it like a fishing family reunion, because everyone comes to town. So there is this huge expo center in Orlando, and basically all distributors, most all of our sponsors, any like retailers and media, and then obviously the anglers, and people like that, like YouTubers, like influencers of, varying areas, I guess, like come to iCast. And it really is a showcase of products. So you, as a like civilian or a regular citizen, you cannot go in. It is where all of the brands basically show what their product line looks like for next year. While everything has turned more to digital as far as putting in orders and things like that, and it used to be back in the day where all of the retailers got their orders in for the next year from whatever the carrier is. So let's say, GSM with Yamamoto and Bill Lewis is there. Me as a tackle company would come and look at their product line and decide and talk to them about all of the varying products and decide what I wanted to have in my shop next year. But it's really fun for us because everyone is there. So it is everyone that would be helpful in talking through products and talking through new products and showcasing that. So all of the people we talk to and work with, as well as new people that we haven't gotten to meet yet or see yet, but we work with over the phone. And it really is like a business event, but it's also a party event too. So they do lots of dinners or breakfasts or, meetups as far as like meetings go, to discuss like the future of different things. So it's very, very fun. It is a full on like hardcore press for the week. So that's why I think during the event, I'm going to get some like snippets and interviews with some of the wives that are there, girlfriends that are there. So I think next episode is going to be pretty fun, but I haven't figured out exactly how it'll all work yet because, like I said, it is pretty crazy of an event. But basically, anyone in bass fishing, actually anyone in fishing, because they do have like some saltwater stuff that comes in there. Like, it is a huge, huge, huge event. But anyone in fishing, really, from kayaks to bass boats to saltwater boats, or saltwater kayaks, like any of that kind of stuff comes to this showcase. So it is so fun, and we get to see people that we haven't seen or only get to see, once or twice a year. It's a really good like meeting point. And it's just, it's so much fun. So I am so pumped. We leave on, let's say, Tuesday, which is good. We'll come back, I think Friday or Saturday, probably Friday. And then we leave, I think Saturday or Sunday for Michigan. So we'll have like a day at home. And the reason why this whole relaxing week has been so nice is because after ICAST, we leave for 6 weeks. I think it's 6. Yeah, basically 6 weeks. We'll be home like a week in September, and then my little brother's getting married, so we get to go and celebrate that. So it is wild. We'll be in Detroit, Michigan, and then we'll be over at the St. Lawrence. And we actually do get to do a Toyota series over there too. And then we have the team series event. So all of this is going on, and then they throw in a team series, which we do not know where it is. So mind you, I'm trying to pack for Florida, basically have everything packed to switch luggages for Detroit, Michigan, and then have enough stuff to bring over to the St. Lawrence, and then wherever we go for team series. So I'm hoping it's still somewhere up north versus, way out west or even down south, because I don't know if I can pack enough for all of that. Thank God we stay in Airbnbs, truly, because the washing machines are essential, wash and drying machines. So that is definitely something I look for in all the houses. But a fun little, caveat in all of this, because we've stayed in Airbnbs so many years, and also been to some similar bodies of water, mainly because he used to fish all of the northerns, and they always go to the same 3 places. It's Potomac, Champlain, and the St. Lawrence River. I actually made a friend, and her name is Brittany as well, and she owns a place in Waddington that is absolutely epic, and it's an inn, actually, so she rents it out. You can do like rent by room of the inn, because they're all separated in little locks, but we just rent the entire thing. She is so cute, and she has a little boutique in it, as well as she owns the Main Street Perk. So if you're ever up there and want breakfast, 100% the Main Street Perk. It is so good, and they have this, what do they call it? Maple butter? I think it's maple butter. It's her in-laws. They own an entire, like, maple company or maple making area up there, and they make their own maple butter, and it is so good. I put it on the breakfast sandwiches. Truly phenomenal. And Matt just walked in, so he might say, hey, I'm doing my thing. He waved. But so we're going up there, and we're staying there, and we'll actually get to be there the whole month. So we'll have different crews come in and out, which that first week will be our normal crew. So it'll be us, Matt Steffen, Spencer Sheffield and Kristen, and Drew Gill. And then the following week, Kurt and Kelsey get to come up. So Kurt Mitchell and Kelsey. I think AJ Slagonia is also going to be with us. Kenny might come up for that. I'm not really sure. Kenny and Brody will be at Detroit, Michigan, as well as Spencer. But Drew, I think he's staying with his... Oh, wait, no, he's not doing that one. He's not doing that one, and Matt Steffen is not doing that one. So, sidebar, they're not doing that, but we'll have the regular crew. So, Okay. Now that you guys know all of the craziness that is about to ensue, so this week, mini episode with me. Next week, it will be me plus some iCast stuff, which will be so fun. So just a little behind the scenes there. And then the following week, I'll be up in Detroit. So I think we're gonna do like our little coffee crew up there. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. I loved the coffee crew, and it looked like you guys did too. So basically, my plan for this mini episode is to kind of go through some of the questions that I've asked other ladies that I haven't asked myself. So I guess like the lost questions, or I haven't asked on here yet to myself. So for the mini Brittany episode. So what is something I do every day without fail? This is very hard because my days are very different, as you guys obviously have noticed and figured. So doing one thing religiously is super hard for me. I try really, really hard to do my daily devotion every day. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, which that like a lot of things, it's like a crazy timing thing. So it's more of me and my timing habits than not having enough time. But another thing is that I really, really try to do is skincare. So I'm laughing because Kristen Sheffield has pounded into my head, I need to do some type of skincare, or I need to wash my face, is what she said. I need to wash my face before bed. But as you guys probably noticed, and if you haven't, my life is crazy. I am the first to wake up and the last to go to bed in our house. In our house and in all of our tournament houses. So by the time it's my time to go to bed, the last thing I want to do is like wash my face or, make more noise and wake up everyone by doing that. And I'm just like exhausted at that point. So typically I just want to go to bed. But Kristen is like, no, you have to wash your face. You have to take your makeup off. Like, it will obviously be to my benefit in the end. And so I've tried really, really, really hard. And that is I need to do it every day without fail. I have sucked it up a little bit recently, mainly because we had family and friends in town, but I am getting back on the wagon. And mainly, I started using this line called Beekman. I hadn't heard of it before, but me and Kristen went in this very cute shop in Plattsburgh. So if you're in the area, I'll get the name for you. I cannot remember the name right now. But the lady who works in there and I think owns it is so, so nice. She has Beekman and Farmhouse Fresh, I think is what it's called, are the two lines, but she like helped me walk through everything. She didn't make fun of me or anything, trying to figure out, what I needed to do. And she's like, at bare minimum, let me get you these, like, it was just face wipes, which everyone is like, don't just use makeup wipes, but these are not makeup wipes. They have other things in them, and it's all based off of like goat's milk. So it seemed super wholesome to me. So I have been trying to do that. So those are the two things that I definitely try to do every day without fail, but definitely like more than everything else in my life. So what is something that you love to do for just me? Read. I love, love, love to read. I read all the time, as often as I can. I used to be books only, and it's actually crazy because, as you guys probably know, I have slight dyslexia, so it's like a struggle, or it used to be a huge struggle for me to read. But getting really enthralled in a book, like my mind can make it basically a movie. So I really love reading, and I have really, really enjoyed my Kindle Paperwhite. So not another random sales pitch on things that you should have, but if you travel or if you do, lots of moving around, that Kindle has kept me reading so much more than having to bring my hard copy books. I still love a good book. Like I actually just finished one, but I'm finishing the series on my Kindle. So I go back and forth. If I know I'm going to be home for a little while, and I'll go, back to regular book. But that Kindle, it has like a dark mode, so I can read and Matt, I can read in the bed, and like Matt, it won't wake him up or disturb him or anything, because it is, it's all blacked out basically. And then it's so light, I can just put it in my purse. So I have absolutely loved that. If you love reading, and you don't want to travel with 6 to 9 books like I did or used to all the time, get yourself a Kindle. They probably are going on Amazon sale soon. So I definitely would do that. And then, do you also love fishing? I love catching. You guys probably have heard me say that a million times. I love being on the water and being outside. That is my sanity. That is everything. I've been born and raised on the water. My whole family lives somewhere close to the water, and we all will attest that if you move us away from the water for too long, we are not great people. We are not nice people. The water is like what brings us back to center. And I don't know why. I don't know, if that was just because we really have grown up on the water, but I have never lived more than a couple of minutes from the water, and I don't ever plan to. So I love being on the water, and when he is catching them, I like to catch them. His brain, he loves to figure them out and figure out their patterns for that day. So if you've ever been in a boat with someone like that, it is very stressful. It is not, a nice little day on the water, a little jaunt on the water. It is up, down, grab pole, go. It is not, slow by any means. So typically, I just enjoy being outside and reading until he kind of settles in, figured out the pattern, and then we can fish that pattern. But typically it is nothing but not relaxing. It is anything but relaxing if we're going fishing versus catching. So I do love catching, but the fishing part is, it is a lot. So I know you guys know how we met and all of that, and I think that we talked like, is he bigger, sappy romantic / said I love you first. I think he did say I love you first, and I can't remember if we said that on here. I'm pretty sure it freaked me out like big time the first time he said it. I think it was like in my house in Pittsburgh. I can remember it almost exactly. I had these old couches before these couches, and one was like against this window, and I'm pretty sure he said it, and I definitely got a little nervous. And then sappy romantic, he is definitely thoughtful, and I really need to change this question because I feel like a lot of guys are more thoughtful than like what you would think of as like sappy romantic, because I don't think I could do like the oiled down petals everywhere. I mean, maybe that could be kind of fun, but not like show up in a suit, none of that wildly like corny romance stuff. More just like very thoughtful. Like he plans every one of my birthdays. We always do birthdays like on an adventure, which actually we're about to leave on his birthday adventure today. So I'm doing this episode, and while it airs, we will be a couple of hours away kayaking to this beautiful waterfall that you can only get to in a kayak, and we're staying in a tree glamp. But anyway, he always plans my birthdays around like things that I love to do, and they're always a surprise, but he plans them like to a T. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to do anything. Like he plans the daily activities, like the timing of everything, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like he has it thought out and planned out, and he is so sweet with all of that. So he is very thoughtful in the stuff that he does, but I wouldn't say like, hey baby, romantic like that. So but definitely romantic in other ways. His brain is insane. So with him traveling a lot, date nights and quality time is hard, and I say this to everyone. Do y'all take time for yourself? Like, what is your go-to date night activity? And you guys know this is our number one. Terrible. We do it terribly. I cannot stress like how bad we are at this during tournament time. And honestly, I don't really think it's something that at this point we need to change. So our quality time is truly spent like when we come home. The issue with that, or that I see like, in the future, is like when we are gone for months on end, a month on end, weeks on end, it does feel like almost a little disconnected by the time we get home. Not in any sense other than we haven't really gotten to talk about like our life, because the whole time, like meaning our home life, or something outside of fishing, because the whole time it's like a work week, 24/7, full force about the fishing. So we do terribly at this. We do a good job, I think, when we are home on this, because it really is like, when we come home, it is our decompression. It is our together time. It is what can we do to, better the house? Like how can we work together to, get what we want done at the house, or get what we want done, elsewhere. But it's just like us as a team. And when we're out for fishing weeks, it is us as a team, like working on our business, but in totally separate capacities. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but it is like a little bit, we're on different like spectrums as far as what's going on during the day. And really that's kind of how it has to be, because he is so focused on fishing that he really shouldn't be like focused on anything else, if that makes sense. So the quality time part is hard. That, and we live, with 4 boys, so, or men, and Kristen, obviously. So when we go out together. Like, it is definitely a family. It is definitely a house. You do not leave anyone out. So finding like the quality time parts are hard. Right now we have off days in the middle. And so I would feel like Matt and I will spend quality time like washing, waxing the truck and boat, because he loves his stuff clean. We do it, religiously, like every day before the start of the next tournament. Some guys roll up and their crap looks crazy, and some guys like it clean, and he is a like it clean human. So we do, like, I'll sit out in the boat while he rigs and we'll wash that. And so that's like kind of more, of us coming together, like working on the same project. And I really, really like those activities. Like, that is where I get my quality time with him from. But it is hard, and we really struggle with it. And I wouldn't even say struggle with it, because it's not like we're trying to work on it either. Like we're just doing terribly at it. If you think we need to do quality time during a tournament week, but it is 100% a work week. So it really is like work trip, work week, full force, 24/7, just that. And then when we come home, it's a complete 180, and it is just us, and us doing our little things and little experiences together. So I don't really know if we need to change it at this point or do anything different. We probably could look at it a little bit, but right now I feel like it's working. But yeah, I mean, that's probably something I should do better at. And I think about it every time I ask this question to see if other people have good ideas. But it really is hard. It's like, if you take your husband to work and then you're trying to like figure out quality time while you're at work with him, it's just like difficult to do. You can take like a lunch break, but what happens when you have to take the whole office with you and your husband on your lunch break? It's just a little different. So yeah, any advice would be super helpful. But at this point, I mean, I'm very happy with like what we have and what we do. But yeah, the quality time during tournament weeks is rough. we do not get that as much. Other than driving. Definitely driving is our time. What is your most fun, craziest, scariest memory together? You guys know when I had Matt on, we did the craziest, scariest was like 100% us at the Grand Canyon. I was trying to think of like another time, because I love like Bobby's scared story of like another scared story. The only one I can think of is we went to pre-fish some body of water, and a storm was rolling in, and Matt was like monitoring it, and It 100% had lightning everywhere. This man, if you do not know, is very prone to lightning. He's prone to fire. He has caught himself on fire multiple times. He has been almost struck by lightning twice, 3 times. He lit our yard on fire. Which I'll tell you that story in another episode at some point, if I haven't already. But like very fire prone. And he dumped us in. I'm sitting there reading. It's freaking freezing. So I just see this like massive storm just rolling in, all of these lightning bolts. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's not very close at all. It's not close. It's not close. Just right down beside us. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. He's like, my line isn't even floating. It wasn't even close. I'm like, are we trying for that? Are we trying for your line to be floating before we leave? So that was extremely scary. But most of the time, he's pretty good about weather and making sure that I am not out there while he is doing stupid weather time activities. But that was super scary. I think we were at, I don't even remember. It was somewhere up north because it was cold. And like, I don't mind if it rains on us a little bit. Like, I got striker gear for that. But I do not do the lightning. And we have, the 2 power poles, which, by the way, power pole, if any of you people are listening, we need lightning rods so that it goes, instead of the power pole to the bow and like us, it goes, straight down. That's what we need added to those if we could do that and make that happen. Let's see. What does your dream life look like now, knowing did my dream life look like, and what does it look like now? You guys know, like when I was little, and I'll touch on this a little bit later too, but like I always wanted a house full of people. I never wanted to have kids of my own. I love kids, but I never really wanted kids of my own. But I always wanted a house full of people. I always was a nomad, like traveling everywhere. I always said like I want to go everywhere, meet everyone, know everything. Like I wanted to make the whole world feel so small because I just like had been everywhere and knew everyone and had all of these, just interactions everywhere. And I never really knew how I would make that happen, but this life has definitely brought that to fruition. So my dream life as a kid, definitely, I don't know what I was picturing it looking like. I knew I didn't want like a stationary home, or like I knew I didn't want to be looking at the same things all the time. And I know that sounds crazy because a little kid, I wanted these things like 3 to 7. I used to say these things, and I don't know how I thought I was going to get there. I also said I wanted to rule the world, which is hilarious because that's not an occupation you can have. However, I do think like I feel very like I rule like Matt and I's world, right? Like everything I wanted, I really feel like I have gotten, or like I'm in a position to have, which is, it's so wild how it all works out. But it's funny, like when I think back to me as a little kid and like the little things that I like wanted or wanted to see myself doing, and I have done them or am doing them, I do really like it. But it's like 100% like to the point of your life is exactly what you make it. You can do whatever you want. You can make changes where you want. You can be happy, be successful. Like you can do these different things by making changes in your life. And I think that that's like, I've always welcomed change. Like I really, really like it. And yeah, I mean, this life, you have to be flexible. So that was like super long drawn out story of the life that I wanted as a little kid. Definitely has, I think, come to fruition, even though I could have never pictured this. What is something that we currently do that I hope we'll always do in the future to keep our relationship strong? So obviously you guys heard me go into, while we don't have quality time during tournament weeks, I do love how much quality time we get when we are at home and like what we do together. I feel like, in prior lives of mine and like my friends and different things. Like, it's really hard to set time aside just in whatever you're doing with your life. But I do think when Matt and I get home, we like make a point to like make everything an experience. And that sounds a little weird, but like even making breakfast together, like it's not just making breakfast, like we're like excited about like what are we gonna do today. We did eggs and pancakes today, but we did them on the Blackstone, like cut up some fruit, had like a nice little espresso coffee drink, like make it like more of an experience than like just sustenance. Or if we have to do like work outside, like we kind of make it enjoyable because it's like an experience together. Like it feels more like a little adventure than like a activities of daily life, if that makes sense. So I hope that we always keep that, because it really does, like that fills my cup as far as the quality time measuring cup. While we don't get it in tournament weeks, we get it at home, and we make it a point to make the activity together, be excited about the activity together, and just make it like a little adventure of its own, or a little experience. And I truly love that. I think that that's hard to do and accomplish because everyone has so much going on in their own heads. So like staying very present and in that moment of even just the little things, I think it makes everything so much better and so much easier. So I hope that we always keep that, because I do think that that makes our relationship so strong, is just like really valuing like the little time as much as the big quality time too. So, okay, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to let my camera simmer down a little bit because he is overheating per usual. One of these days I'll get a different camera, but we'll let him simmer down, and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about like the tournament-y stuff of the questions I have not answered. Okay, so back to some of the questions that I have not answered. What does my family think about this life and this career? I think that they couldn't be more excited. Again, I have wanted very similar things since I was a little kid, like meaning I've had, dreams that are what my dreams are now since I was really little. And my family, I think it always was like, how is she gonna get there when or how is this life going to happen when I was a kid? Just because it really is. It was like, I want a house full of people, but I want to travel all the time. Like that is a complete oxymoron. Like that's not gonna happen, Brittany. So I think that they're like wildly excited that I found something that is so fitting to like everything I always wanted. And as far as career, I think they could not be more ecstatic that it is Matt, regardless of what he's doing. But bass fishing, my dad has like jumped in full force, 2 feet in, meaning he got a bass boat. Like Matt took him out on the water and he was like instantly obsessed. So now he has a bass boat. He does Fishers of Men tournaments. My mom is his team partner sometimes. Like very, very cute. They have definitely fully embraced it, love it, are still learning all the nuances, but I think that they definitely love it for Matt and I, and then they enjoy it together as well. And I think it's like perfect for my dad, as far as if he ever retires, like what his retirement life would look like. It's like such a perfect hobby because it is a boat he's very used to. We were always offshore, so always had big boats, or wakeboarding boats or whatever. And so a lot of those things you have to do with a person. You can't just do singularly or with a person. And I think he has found it so nice that the bass boat, he can launch, he can take out, he can function singularly or with other people on. And I think that that's been really fun for him to kind of like dive into and get more into. So I think it's been good. But yeah, they love it. I didn't really like know how they would take it. I mean, I never really thought too much of it, to be honest. Once I found out, I wasn't gonna have to like completely support him as far as financially, because I didn't know that you could, make money and all of that. Like, I had no idea about it. Once I found that out, I was like, oh, they'll be fine. Like, he is what he is. Like, they wouldn't have cared one way or the other, but I think that's so funny. They really have like absolutely embraced it. Mom watches at work. She's a dental hygienist, and so all of her patients now are also Matt Becker fishing fans, which is fabulous, because she has it on in her office while she is working, or she'll go back and forth or whatever. But do we have any superstitions or traditions before each tournament day? So Matt will tell you, and he kind of did when I had him on, that he doesn't believe in superstitions or like that kind of thing, because he said if it was real, like, you would win every tournament, which I like agree and disagree. I have my routines that I like to do, and I know if the guy's mojo is off, like, I change something just to like jar it up. So like, that being said, if we have bad practice days, like, and I gave them all grape jelly sandwiches, I'll give them all strawberry jelly sandwiches. Or if we had bad practice days or a bad tournament day, like, I'll switch up how I put their bags in the little lines, because they each have like a little sandwich row basically on where they pick up their food in the morning. Just like stuff like that. I know it matters not. Like, God already has the plan. It's already in motion. There is nothing you can do to change it, because his will is his will 100%. But it is very fun for me, or just to help like ease their mind, relax their head, that kind of thing. And I think sometimes when you're stuck in this, it's not going well, if you change like something little like that, or if you just like tell your brain to like stop it, now I got a strawberry jelly sandwich, it's gonna be great. I think that's so fun. So I do that. I make Matt and the guys cookies every night, but I send Matt with 5 cookies at least every day. He likes their mix that's Reese's peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies. So I make those pretty much every tournament night, unless like we had gone out to dinner and they all got like cookie skillets or something like that. But I always try to do that. Any other traditions or superstitions? Not really traditions. Like, I always call my mom after I dump him in the water. She's normally the first call, and normally she's still in bed. So I try to like be aware of the time, but normally I'm not, because it's so early on the practice days. Tournament days, she's well awake, but on the Bass Pro Tour. But any of the other circuits, she's still asleep because it's so early. It's always like, 30 minutes before sunrise. So she's like, hello, did you get him in? But I would say that's a tradition for sure. What's something I do that helps make Matt more successful on the water that's like random? I used to ask this question more often than I ask it now, just because it's a little complicated, because I do think everything we do helps them be successful on the water, because if we didn't do it, they would be doing it, and the more that they're doing outside of fishing, the more their mind is distracted. So I think it's like a fully loaded question, but I would say something random that I feel like, this is actually a tradition too. Well, 2 things. Okay. So I always shout in the morning, like, regardless of where we are, regardless of what tournament it is. I don't care if there's 2 people out there or if there's like 50 million people out there. I am going to shout when Matt's number is called or his name is called. So if you know me at all, I am not quiet. when it comes to like celebrations. I really love to cheer. I really love to get loud. And I know it just like pumps him up. And everyone's like, can he even hear that? And I'm like, his GoPro can pick me up. He 100% hears it every single day. I know he likes it. And it just kind of gets him going. Every other sport, you cheer when the team comes onto the field or when they do something good. And fishing, it's really hard to like give them that. Like, in a stadium, they can hear when they're doing well. Like on the basketball court, they can hear when they're doing well. Fishermen can't hear that. And if you've ever followed a fisherman for the day, like I truly don't know how they stay as focused as they do or as like excited as they do. It truly is a singular sport with no immediate gratification, because the only people that they have in their boat is the camera guy and the official. And the official isn't allowed to really celebrate with them because they're their official. So I scream when he leaves. So he has that as like his send off. And then every fish he catches, I always blast his phone. So they are not allowed to have their phones, except for obviously during breaks. Like, they're not allowed to do stuff on them, but during breaks they can. So he always leaves his dinger on. And I actually think you're allowed to answer like emergency calls. I don't really know how the phone thing works, but generally speaking, and like from the beginning, like I've never like called, like I don't do any of that. It's like his work day. However, with the Every Fish Counts, every single fish he catches, I always send him a text like, woo, congratulations, like boom, there it is, like here's another one, or like a funny meme or anything. So instead of like a stadium where you hear the people go wild, he at least is getting like ding, 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 you know, every time he gets the picture, like, you know, another one, like he knows, you know, like I'm watching, people are watching, they're excited. So I love doing that, and I do think it makes him more successful, because it is like, you know, if you're outside, there's no music, there's no nothing. The second that, you know, you do something really good, you like, you know, did anyone see that? Did anyone see it? You know, and they don't get the woo unless people are following them, which is super cool that a lot of the events they have done this year. But unless people are following them, they do not get that. So I try to do that in text message form, or at least on Ringer, so that he gets some kind of like, know that I'm like super excited. And the other people are, and I know his dad will like send him some too. So basically we just blow him up, and then when he's at break, he can see, you know, all of the memes come through, which I love, and I think is something just totally random that I like to do. Okay, I asked Abigail about, because they're both younger, Matt Stephan had asked like, how do I feel about this, or how does she feel about the social media side of life? And I think this is such a funny thing and subject, and you guys kind of heard me like touch on it last week, that these guys, like I said, that are so successful with nothing around, meaning they can go out and be competitive, stay in it, stay in their head down, like so focused with no one around, are expected to have a presence of lots of people, lots of fans, and be on social and be very open and charismatic, you know, on social media, when realistically their favorite love or their favorite place to be, their passion, is the front of the boat with no one, right? Like it's so wild to me how they are so successful at doing that, meaning they are successful talking with people and like being, you know, such a good like sport or like advocate, or, you know, they're so good with like fan facing stuff, even though they're like, how they got into this was like them singularly fishing on the front of a boat. So I think the social media side is like wild, you know, the expectations, or really what you need to do to build your own brand. There's so much that goes into it. I'm glad I can help with it as far as Matt stuff goes. But it is really wild to me, like how successful people are with it, from going from being, you know, a singular human on a boat in the middle of, you know, God's creation, to also knowing how to use and excel at a social media platform and online and, facing like that. It's pretty wild to me. And I like that Matt asked, because they were younger, did they find it easier? But I almost don't think it matters. I think that their love was still being singular on a boat in the middle of creation with nothing around. So I think it's always going to be a struggle regardless of like age. Some people I think do it better than others, or it can kind of like meld into it better than others. And some people come with, more that like YouTube-y background. So they kind of have more that like presence that's different, or like in Marshall and Mitchell's case, they had someone to show them like how to speak to the camera, because of Marty and Iris like being so helpful with that. But I feel like regardless of age, like it's like taking a hunter out of the woods, right? It's taking, a fisherman off of their boat. So I think it's so interesting, and I think it's going to be very interesting moving into the future, just kind of like how that develops. And all of that craziness. So how I feel about social media, it's like a huge avenue to expand your brand, to get what is in your head in front of people. That's what we try to do with Matt's YouTube channel. Is his whole goal is to help people catch more fish or catch more bass. Because really, like, getting people outside and on the water, we think would solve, a lot of problems in the world, in their lives, in their happiness, all of those things, because we love the water and we love being out there, and we know how happy it makes us. So I do think it's a huge avenue for that. I also think it gives a platform to people who may or may not need a platform. So I think it's like double-edged sword. But for us, I think it's been a great thing for him to be able to grow his brand, for you guys to really get to see like our side of life. I love it, obviously, because something I noticed within the industry is like they don't get to cover, or they don't cover the other side of the angler, meaning the wives, girlfriends, and fiancés, even the moms, like whoever is helping these anglers be successful, grandmas, like whoever it is, they're just not covering that side. And so me, as a random human, a random civilian, can get on here and have a platform to introduce you guys to them, or like talk about it. So I think it's huge for that. I'm very curious to see, what it looks like in the future, and how it evolves, because everything changes and evolves. So obviously I watch live during tournament season. I actually just had to have a talk with myself about like, I was so into, if he's doing well and I have it on, I'll keep it on. If he's not, playing the game. We always say playing this game. And I don't know why we do this to ourselves, because like I already said, the plan is the plan is the plan. God has a plan. It doesn't matter if I'm watching or I'm not watching. What's going to happen is going to happen. And so I had to have a little talk with myself about, Brittany, you're being crazy. If you want to watch and it brings you joy, watch. And if not, don't watch. But I love watching live. So these last couple of tournaments, I have had it on as long as I pleased, instead of playing the whole game in my head. Sorry, bless me. But I love to watch live. I think it is so fun and so entertaining, and they're doing such a good job with it. So I'm I love it. And then what, from my perspective, do I think makes a successful angler? One of these days, guys, I will get that word right. I truly think it is grit. It is absolute grit. It is confidence beyond confidence in every motion that you're making, being the right one, the good one, not questioning yourself. Because the more you question yourself, the more you doubt. And the more you doubt, the more your casts are going to be wrong. The more it's just not going to work out. Like, you cannot doubt. It's all confidence based. And I truly think like that grit, just never, ever giving up on yourself, on what you know, on the fact that you are chasing bass. Like, you are going to swing and miss, but in your head and in your knowledge and in your skill set, you will keep swinging and you will hit one out of the park. Like, you absolutely will. It is not always swing and a miss. They are there. They will eat. You have to just figure it out and just staying calm, cool, and collected to do that. So having absolute grit and this like utterly insane confidence in your abilities and your mind. And I think it's really a beautiful thing, but it is also crazy, and it's hard to keep your mind that strong, especially when it's not going your way. Okay, so I'm gonna use Abigail's question for the next guest, but I'll also answer it. So her question was, what's your favorite boat snack? And I 100% love Cheez-Its, just like she does. I really love cheese and crackers if we're not going to be out there too long. We have the cooler in the Phoenix, which is super nice, so it keeps everything cold. So we can bring cheese out, but still sometimes on a really hot day, it just isn't as satisfying. For some reason, I do semi-like pretzels on a boat. I'm not a pretzel person, but I do like pretzels on a boat. Or like fruit, really, I love those cuties. Like I said, we bring apples, just any kind of like delicious thing. And then obviously a Diet Coke. I mean, I know it is formaldehyde and all the other crap that people say, but I love a Diet Coke on the water. I just do. So those are mine. Okay, so that is our show this week. Little mini Brittany show this week. Next week is going to be a little wild. I will let you guys know what it looks like as far as an episode goes. I'm hoping to get some wife feedback, because a few wives are coming into town that wouldn't normally be able to come to other events. So I'm going to get some snippets of that. And then I'm actually talking to Julie, Fred Urbanus' wife. She has agreed to be my test pilot for a Zoom-to-Zoom kitchen. But the week semi ran away with me as far as getting that tested for August. So hopefully that will work out for her to be on in August, and we'll do a Zoom-to-Zoom kitchen, mine to hers, or whatever random kitchen I am in at the time to hers, and I'm super pumped about that. I also have a few guests that I'm actually going to their kitchen, but we're waiting a little bit. We're waiting until after season, mainly because they're closer to this house than otherwise. So I'll be driving down some, if you can guess, and then I'm driving up a little bit, but I'll be in their actual kitchens, and I'm so excited for the off season because it's gonna be good, and I'm very, very excited. So as you guys know, my whole goal is to get to everyone eventually, meaning like over the next couple years. So I'm super excited. Everyone that is a current wife, girlfriend, fiance, has been a wife, girlfriend, fiance of the Bass Pro Tour. Hopefully some from BASS as well. Obviously, our paths don't cross as often, so it's a little bit hard, but I do have some friends over there. So hopefully I'll be able to get some of them on. Obviously, the invitational circuit, because we still run that. As well, we do 3 events of that typically every year. So hopefully that'll work out as far as next year goes. So my whole goal is to get you guys introduced to everyone that you could possibly meet, and to release one episode every Thursday is how it's going throughout this year, and hopefully next year I might change the day next year, but I think Thursdays, it's working well. So I like Thursdays. Thursdays is the girls' day, so we'll do that. But that is our episode this week. Thank you for joining. I just made these cool shirts, Catch, Kiss, Release. I'm like super pumped about them. So I'll leave a description or a link in the description where you can get these, and also some other merch. It says like, I'm in love with a fisherman, or my heart is with a bass fisherman, or different kind of things like that. If you want to get any of that stuff, basically I made it for myself, but I figured others might like it. So I'll put that link in the description below, and I'll see you guys next week. So thanks for joining. Bye.